Good morning, everybody. I thought I would put together a quick video for people to see the basic features of the virtual Sandtray app and how to work them. It's been hard to figure out a time and day for everybody to be able to get on at the same time. So this will at least get people started, and then we can deal with questions from there. I'm sorry, I feel like I look a bit of a fright. I've been growing out my bangs, I'm all awkward. So I'm gonna quickly go over to sharing my screen, and that way you don't have to look at me anymore. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, it is telling me it's launching. Do you like my little virtual Sandtray background there so you don't have to see what I am sitting in? It's just the office in my house, but it's pretty cool that Zoom lets us customize it like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start up my app. Now this is my teaching app. So I have it pre-populated. It's going to look a little different than everybody else's, but that's because I teach with it. I don't use it clinically. I'm going to go ahead and do login administrator, but you can see it's login client, login administrator. So once you have client accounts made, you could go straight into your client's accounts. So here's where mine looks a little bit different. You have the username and password pre-populated. I know that might sound really great for you all to be able to have too, but we don't allow that, again, for confidentiality reasons. That way no one else can just log into your virtual Sandtray account. Okay, so I did a check mark, and then I got to my play, administrate, about, language, and exit. Language is to change these directionals into Spanish. So we have Spanish and English if you want to switch that. The 3D model names are not translated, but people go by the pictures anyway, so that's why we didn't go ahead and translate those, but everything else is translated. So I'm going to go into play. So you start out, now you can see those two little circles there. That is a feature for teaching, and it's a touch indicator. And in a few minutes, I'll show you how to turn that on. But this way people know what it is that you're touching, okay? So you can do the 2-finger touch, and you can make it smaller, you can rotate it, you can make it bigger, okay? But what we did in the virtual Sandtray is everywhere we could, we put in alternate controls. And what that means is that people who either don't want to do the 2-finger touch or are unable to do the 2-finger touch, they have other ways of doing some of the features in here. So, like I said, you can do it with the 2-finger touch. The other way is these knobs on the side. So I have the one on the left, and I can go up and down and back and forth. The one on the right, that one rotates it if I go from side to side, and then it tilts it if I go up and down, okay? Then I'm gonna go to digging. Digging in the sand is really important. So if I touch the pail with the little shovel, the arrow is going down. If I touch it again, it's going up. Touch it again, there's an eraser. Touch it again, and it goes back, okay? So let's go ahead and dig down. I'm gonna touch it once, so the arrow is going down. I'm gonna long press on it, which means I'm gonna hold my finger there until the shovels pop up. And I'm going to choose the large one so that you can see what I'm doing. And then if I just drag my finger across, you can see the movement I'm making by watching that circle. It goes down in layers. So that's the first layer. I go over the same area. I can go down to the second layer. I go over the same area, and I can go down to the third layer. That's our liquid layer. We can change the liquid layer, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. All right, so building up the sand, it's the same idea. Drag my finger across, and I raise the sand. Pick my finger up, go over the same area, and I go up another level. That makes sense? So as long as you're going over an even area, you'll keep going up another level. And I'm gonna change and tilt our direction so that you can see that that is actually up off the tray, okay? And I'm gonna go back. There's a slide on the side here that allows us to zoom in and out. I forgot to tell you that a minute ago. All right, the eraser. So I touched that blinking icon one more time. We've got the eraser. That is for going back to the original level in case you did something you didn't want to be there, okay? Next we have painting. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose a paint. I picked lava. Most people do the first time, I'm not sure why. If I long press on the paint can, again, holding my finger there until another menu pops up, we get these options. The paintbrushes go by the same as the shovel, so smaller to bigger. And then we also have the spilling paint can, because I asked my husband to put that in. I had clients who were trying to fill in every nook and cranny with paint, and they would take 45 minutes, which told me a lot about them, but also took entirely too much time. So I'm going to go ahead and fill the whole thing in. It prompts you to ask you if that's what you actually want to do. And you can see that it fills the whole thing in. But maybe we don't want to just have that. We want to have another paint on there as well. And you can see that I can just go ahead and paint over it. And then I can just keep picking paints depending on whatever it is I want to do. I have the smallest paintbrush chosen right now. So if I had the bigger one, my swaths would be bigger. Okay, let's go through to the models. These are 3D models, and the reason why that matters is so that you can rotate all the way around and it'll still be an item as opposed to some flat thing. So once you touch the area, see how it turns green? I've chosen dragons, it's green. I'm going to do select. Now I'm going to go to general. Now I have the expansion pack on here plus the regular pack. In the basic pack, you're going to have a dragon, and these are the ones that are in the expansion pack. And again, whichever one I turn green when I touch it is the one that's going to be put onto my tray. So I touch it, make it turn green, touch my tray. Choose the ones I want, make it turn green, touch my tray, okay? All right, I'm gonna exit out of there. So now you can see we have a bunch of dragons in our lava land here. And some of them have animation. You can see that this red one right here is kind of breathing, but if I touch him, he doesn't do anything else. But this one over here, if I touch him, he has different animations. Every time I touch him, he's gonna change his animation, okay? Okay, back to his original. Now, if I long press in the center of him, if you imagine there's this little box on the inside of there that is being activated when you long press. So if you put something tiny in there, like a butterfly, you have to zoom in so that you can activate that little square that's on the inside. But I went ahead and long pressed on my dragon. That gave me this other menu come up. The ones in blue and purple on the left-hand side, those are the alternate controls, again, for people who don't want to or can't do that two-finger touch. But if I wanted to make my dragon bigger and use the two-finger touch, then I like to go off to the side. You see how my fingers are up here, but I'm still making it bigger and smaller? If I put my fingers right on top of that dragon, I might activate that check mark, and then I'll have to long press on the center of him again and make the menu pop up. So if I go off to the side, I can make him bigger, smaller, I can rotate him, okay? I can also do that with the alternate controls. If I don't like what I've done with him, I can touch the toilet plunger and he'll go back to his original state. If I want to knock him over, I just do the gloved finger and that will knock him over. And he'll go in a bunch of different positions depending on what you want. This is really helpful if you want to bury him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him over into our hole over there, and then we'll use him in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and check mark him, and I'm going to leave him in that hole we dug, and I'll show you in a minute how to bury him. So let's go ahead and activate something else. I'm going to do this guy right here, and I'm going to show you how to make things levitate. So you push the up arrow, and it's on a 1-second delay so that your clients aren't just banging away on your iPad. We go up, up, up. And then when I change the angle here, you can see that he's actually up there flying. And then I can check mark him and there he will be. All right, just a couple other things. I'm gonna activate him. If I wanted to get rid of him, we have two options, okay? One is that I can do the recycling button and he disappears. he's gone. If you have another item that you want to get rid of, then you can long press on the wand. It turns into a bomb. This gets used a lot. And then touch your item and it fragments and then it disappears. So you can get rid of things either way. If I want to take a screenshot, I'm just going to touch my camera, takes a screenshot, that gets saved to your iPad, not within the app. The files get saved within the app, the photos and videos get saved within your iPad, so you have to take care of them as you would any other pictures and videos. Okay, if I long press on the camera, then we have a camera filter pop up, and I'm going to choose Blizzard, and you can see now it looks like it's snowing. There's other options. We could do night vision. That gets used a lot of times in alien and military scenes. I'm going to turn that off by doing the check mark, but if I wanted to keep, I'm going to turn that off by doing the X mark. If I wanted to keep it, I would do the check mark. So I'm going to touch the X. All right, let's do just 2 more things. Let's go into the file folder, has the wrench on it and all the file folders, and we get this menu here. Here we can quit, we can save, we can load client trays. Now remember, we're in administrative mode, so we can see everybody's trays. If we were in client mode, they would only be able to see their own. Play package is an expansion pack created by Dr. Robert Gray. I can't speak. Dr. Robert Jason Grant. And he has 20 directives in there. It's a really great package. Let's go into user options quickly. I just want to point out, we can go over the other ones in a more detailed way another time, but for today, auto save, I want to point that out. Every 3, 5, or 10 minutes, or you can turn it off. I strongly suggest you have it on, and I'm going to turn mine on to 3 minutes. That way, if anything happens, you run out of battery, something funky happens, it quits, you run out of memory, whatever it is for your iPad, it'll auto save it every 3 minutes, so not all is lost, and then you can go back in and save it. The other piece is this touch indicator. That's what's making these blue circles. That's great for teaching and also for teletherapy. Okay, I'm going to X out of here. Environment options. So this is where we can change the skybox. I'm going to choose blue space with planet. And then I'm going to also change the fluid type. I'm going to go to lava. Now, if you see, before I check mark this to go back to our tray, if you long press on that clear whole Sandtray, that'll clear your whole tray and you'll have a nice fresh one for your next use. But I'm going to check mark and then I'm going to do resume down here on the bottom. And what you can see is a couple things. One is that our liquid layer where our dragon is lying, it is now lava. That has changed. And the other is that now we have a different skybox background. And changing that can really, really change the mood. So when kids are, or adults, anybody, when they're using this and they want to take a screenshot, you can change the background and then really customize your angle, get it just right, and get your picture. All right, quickly, I'm going to show you how to bury him. If I go to my bucket and I go to the up arrow, I can then drag sand over him, and he's bouncing a little bit, so let's get him covered up. Okay. Oh, he popped out. Look at that. Sometimes if the ground is uneven, that will happen. Okay. So he is now buried. The cool thing is he still exists. So if I want to go back and I want to get him unburied later, I'm going to go down to the down arrow, and then I just take this apart, and look, there he is. All right, I hope that's helpful. Really basic, quick use of this virtual Sandtray app. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. I've been doing my best to keep up with everything on Facebook and emails and phone calls and everything that we've been getting. It's exciting for us. It's a lot of work for everybody. Great thing is that you can use your telehealth platform and screen share and create these great trays with your clients. We are actively and quickly as possible working on the ability to have your client be able to create them on their end. You purchase the app, but they are given permission to use it in session with you. So we're getting that out as quickly as we can, and we know people really want it, so promise you we'll have it as quickly as we can. Hope this helps. Thanks.